Alright, what up peeps? Today we're going to be doing our prediction video. So we have the tourney this upcoming Saturday, May the 4th. And I have done my predictions when we did the draws for the teams, but since then there's been a lot of changes with a lot of people announcing that they're not going to show up. And we kind of already have like some guaranteed substitutes / no-shows. So I just wanted to come up with an updated version of my predictions to let you guys know my thoughts going into the tourney. Especially since I already know like everyone kind of has their own idea of who's going to make it, and obviously a lot of people are rooting for themselves, but yeah, I just wanted to give you guys my quick predictions, and here they are. So to start us off, this one remains the same. I announced this one when we did the draws. Sam and Captain are definitely my first, probably my most confident pick going into this. I can only pick 6 people, remember, because we only have 6 finalists. And there's 20 teams to choose from. And I mean, just looking at the roster right here, just Sam and Captain just seem like the most likely. You have a 2-time tourney champion, and I think he made it to almost every finals. I'm not sure if he made it to every finals, but I'm pretty sure he made most of them. Because I do remember some that he made, but some that he didn't win. I just don't know if he made it to all. But you still have someone who's a consistent finalist, someone who's won the tourney twice, and someone who just has like a known reputation to be decent, or to be good rather, in PvP and in Minecraft / Mineplex. And then joining alongside him, you have Captain, who now has this weird stigma attached to his name, where it's like a lot of people always think he's hacking or has weird hits. But right now there hasn't been too much, confirmation that he is hacking. Like, no one has come right out and said like, yo, it's definite hacks, and this is something we have to watch for and potentially ban from the tourney. So I mean, just with that, people thinking that, I mean, he's somewhat decent if it's not actually hacks. And then from his past tourney experiences, he's made it to almost every single finals, I'm sure. And he's had that legendary hexakill. So you just have 2 people who are consistently known as good. They both speak on the mic. And I just don't see why this team wouldn't make it into the finals. Like, if this team doesn't make it into the finals, I'd actually be really shocked. It'd be like one of those other upsets, kind of like Gamer God and Blend, or like Tommy and Volts. But this team should be one that's like expected to make it to the finals. And that's why I put them as my first team out of the 6. Now, next up, I'm going to stick with another consistent one that I said last time, which is going to be Rodfather and Red Ice. Pretty much, Rodfather lately has shown that he still has his skills from the past. If anything, I feel like he's improved even more from back then. It's either he's improved more or a lot of people lost their touch. It's one or the other. But either way, he has a clear advantage compared to a lot of the others in terms of PvP. And now he has a teammate that has a mic, who communicates and who's not too bad himself when it comes to the tourneys, at least. Red Ice is a known finalist. Rodfather isn't a finalist. So it's like you kind of have like this combination of like what each side was missing. Red Ice was always missing that PvPer that can fill up for the mistakes and for the skills that Red Ice lacks in his department. And then now Rodfather has someone who can fill in the slots that he needs, someone who can strategize, who can play unconventional and communicate with him. So I feel like this pair is a weird pair. It's kind of like opposites colliding, but I feel like it's going to be a good thing for them. And if they just manage to actually like bond / work together, they could be a really strong team. And I think even if they don't win the entire tourney, I feel like they will make it to the finals and probably be a contender for the entire thing. So that's going to stick with my number 2 because they're both confirmed to show. Next up, we got Starry and his teammate, the Spirally. Now, the thing with this is that so far we've already had 2 people denounce themselves as from coming to the tourney. Now, those 2 people were No Pressure's friends, as well as some people from our community, but the reason why I just bring that up is because Starry's teammate is one of Pressure's friends, and it's someone who's not really known within the community. So now we actually have seen him play. We've heard feedback from Starry say that they are potentially working together and saying that they are a strong team, but that was like almost a week ago, and we haven't really seen Spirally here lately, and we don't know if he's gonna actually be a show. So that's where my question marks start to come up, and like just he's still a new person. I've never seen this guy participate in any of the tourneys, so like I don't know how he's gonna handle how the tourneys actually work. Because trust me, people think they're always like really good, and then they don't realize how much of a difference the actual tourneys make, especially with so many RNG factors. So I'm still gonna put him as my number 3 just because it's so hard to choose from the others, especially when I think there's way more question marks around the other teams than there is on this team. So I'm gonna put them up there, but I'm not as confident with them as I am with Red Ice and Rodfather and Sam and Captain. So I put Sam and Captain and Red Ice and Rodfather probably in the top 2, aside from the rest that I'm going to be naming, which is Starry and Spirally. And then we're going to be moving on to the next group, which I think is HG and Balling. Now with HG and Balling, Balling is a consistent finalist. HG as well, I'm pretty sure has made it to a couple finals, and they seem like another strong team. The only question marks kind of similar to like Starry and Spirally, because I mean Starry has been a finalist in almost every single tournament, so it's kind of just like this. But the difference here is instead of Spirally being the question mark, it's Balling is the question mark here, because HG has been a consistent player now. He's been getting way better. He's been taking names throughout like the return of like SG and stuff. And now the only problem is Balling is known to be a consistent player, but we don't know if he's played MC recently, and we haven't heard from him since the day of the re-announcement of the tournament. So that is not good. And we've tried contacting him. It's not like he's just been gone out of nowhere and we haven't tried hitting him up. It's just he hasn't responded and he hasn't said anything or hasn't showed. So it's like this alone, kind of worries us, because like, is this kid gonna show or is he not? Because if he's not, that makes a huge difference to whoever gets filled in with HG. But as of now, we're gonna just go with the assumption that he is gonna show, because I don't think he's ever missed a tourney that he signed up for. And if they do, I think they can make it, but that's why I'm putting them still in the lower category. Just because we're not sure if he's actually gonna show up. All right, for my next one. So like I'm separating these into categories. So I feel like the first 2 that I named would be like at the A tier. The next 2 that I named would be like B tier, and that's not in terms of like skills and in terms of like how they're gonna perform. It's more so it's like I can confidently say the people in the A category have a higher chance just because there's not as many question marks around it. Whereas like the people in B, it's still like uncertain whether that team is even gonna be a thing. So it's so hard to confidently say, yo, these guys are making it to the finals, So that's why I'm like separating. And then like this would be the C tier. We'd be able to name 2 more teams. And I'm gonna start us off with Freshie and Tommy, pretty much. I mean, everyone knows Tommy. Like, you can't not know Tommy. He's the season 1 champion. He has a big reputation within the PvP community here. And he's just usually known to carry teams and to perform like without a doubt. Now, the thing with this though is then you have someone like Freshie, who's another one of No Pressure's friend, who people don't really know, and he's shown up a couple times, but he's had issues with ping and with lag. So there's moments where he does really good, but you can't tell if it's actually him or it's his ping. And then there's moments where he flops straight to the ground. And once again, that could be due to ping. He could be lagging, getting ghost hitted, and that's where it starts to create this problem. So now we've known Tommy to be able to carry and stuff, but now here's another problem on top of the ones we just mentioned, and that's Tommy even showing up. So Tommy has mentioned that there's a possibility that he might be a no-show, and if that's the case, you also even have the potential of Freshie not showing. So then it just pretty much, there's so many question marks around this team where it's like, if you go into it just knowing that both of them are going to show up, then you're probably like, yeah, this is a potential finalist. But now when you start bringing in all these like what ifs, is he going to show up, blah blah blah, then it's you want to put him up there, but you have to put him on the lower end of the spectrum. So that's why I'm putting them in my C category. Now, I think for the most part, my picks have still been the same. I think the only one that I'm going to be changing is this last one, and that's mainly because in the last time I chose my last team, it was still be in the C category just because it had so many question marks. But I pretty much chose between Boyum and Dream, and Blend and his teammate, which was Bajan Rex, and I couldn't really choose because there was like so many question marks just revolving some of the players that I've never seen play before and how they do together in terms of their teams. But now we have a lot of new information that Boyum should, for the most part, not show up. Like there's a high chance he's not going to show up. And we haven't really seen Dream for a while. And there's always the possibility that he might not show up. So I feel like it's too hard to like confidently say this team is a finalist. So we're just gonna scrap them out. And the same thing with Blend and Bajan Rex. Bajan Rex has been confirmed to not show up. Now if he does is another story, but as of now he's a no-show. So I don't really know who Blend's gonna get paired up with, and that's gonna be a huge factor whether he makes it or not. So we're gonna take them out. And the new group that I'm gonna slot in here, is probably going to be Verify and Vangola. Now, originally I was going to actually choose Jack and Quantify, but the thing is there's so many problems around that team as well, because I've seen Jack recently play, and I think he's a really good player, especially depending on who he gets teamed with. But the thing is there's a possibility that he might not show up. And then on top of that, Quantify is a similar situation like Balling, where they hasn't showed up since the initial signups. So there's just too many question marks around that team alone. And I think the only one that I can confidently say with for the most part, at least I'll put him in C tier, is Verify and Vangola. Now I originally didn't even know Vangola was this person, the Aguic kid, but I've actually seen the username in our MPS like a lot recently. I just didn't know that was Vangola because I didn't see him in my Twitch channel. But now that I know that it's him, I know that he's been practicing. I know he's been playing. I know he's been around. And the same thing with Verify. Verify has been practicing. He's been playing. He's been around. So it's like for the most part, you can kind of go into this confidently saying, they're both going to show up. And, maybe they've been practicing behind the scenes. I don't know if they've been practicing in the MPS. I haven't been paying too much attention. But that they're both here. They should both be decent, strong PvPers. I think the one thing that'll like hold them behind is whether they both communicate to each other, or how they're going to communicate, and how well they're going to work together. But if they can figure that out, they should be a potential finalist team. And they'll be my last team, the top 6, to finish it up. And obviously they'd be in the C tier. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up. There is already a lot of possibilities of no-shows. I know we have Balling as a question mark. We have Mermaid as well. Quantified Jack, like I mentioned earlier, Boyum and Bajan. As well as there's just a lot of people that are potential no-shows. So for my substitutes that did sign up, if you're watching this, please be there, because we're probably gonna need you guys to fill in the spots to be substitutes. And you never know. You can take the entire thing, make it to the finals, possibly be the champion, win the prize pool. So we are gonna need some substitutes, man. So please show up. And then for the participants that haven't shown up since the initial signups, if you're watching this, where you at, man? Like, you guys are slacking. You need to show your presence a little more. Help your teammates communicate, or at least try to show up on tourney day. Don't like leave us hanging. Aside from that, what do you guys think about my top 6? What do you guys think about me separating them into different categories like A, B, and C? If you have differences in terms of categories between the 6 that I selected, or just other teams that I didn't select, let me know. As well as if you don't agree with my top 6 in general, then what are your top 6? Aside from that, remember guys, the tournament is this Saturday, May the 4th, around 4:30 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As well as we have a teaser coming out tomorrow. It's going to be a small teaser for the first tourney of Season 3. So be on the lookout for that. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. And if you want to stay tuned for more SG content related to the tourney, as well as other stuff, feel free to subscribe. We're on our way to 2K subs. So feel free to help me out with that. And that's pretty much it. Have a good one. I'll see you guys later, peeps.